Hey everyone, guess what? We're going to show you what to do with your extra Easter basket stuff right here. Okay, that stuff right there. By the way, it has to do with fishing, okay? Specifically fly fishing. And you can use it for other stuff in fishing as well, but today we're going to show you what to do with it to tie flies. Because this stuff's kind of unique right here. This stuff has unique flash to it that you can't really get in the fly fishing shops. And a unique fluorescent, especially for the clear water. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it here in a minute. But right now, I'm going to show you what I'm going to start with to tie this. So I got this stuff right here, which is called dubbing. And you're going to see what I do with that in a minute. And I got my saddle. I'm going to use my saddle for my tail, which is not ideal, but that's all I have for a tail right now. And you're going to see how I do that. I got my thin Daniels wiring right here. Danville's wire, I'm sorry. I got my glue stick. You need a glue stick for the dubbing. That's kind of mandatory. And today I'm using a size 12 hook and some really thin thread to wrap the fly. Now the hook's already on there. I got a small bead head on there. I like to use bead heads. I fish for hatchery fish a lot and they tend to like that. Sometimes they want the slower falling stuff, but most of the time they want that bead head. So I already got my thread started. I'm gonna take this saddle that I'm using as a tail. I already stripped off the fuzzy stuff, okay? You strip off that fuzzy crap and you just go with that. I'm gonna go with a small pinch today because I'm just using it for a tail. Usually use this for a body, but today we're gonna use it for a tail because I do not have the proper material for a tail. And this is purple. Because I'm gonna go with kind of a rainbow flash kind of pattern today. Not necessarily rainbow, but that flash is rainbow, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna match the tip of that tail up to the hook point and keep my finger point there. And I'm gonna take that, what I measured right there, I'm gonna put that on the end of the hook shank, right on the end of the hook shank. Then I'm gonna wrap it. Now when you wrap it, you go over lightly. And when you go back up, because you don't wanna go tight. If you go tight down, your tail is gonna go underneath your hook. Now if you go loose and then go up tightly, like that, your tail stays the same spot. Oh, it broke off. I broke the thread there. I don't tie flies too often. I'm mostly conventional fisherman, but I do a lot of fly fishing as well. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm just gonna keep wrapping it on the end, get that back on there. Okay. When you break your thread, I re-wrap it on the end and get it right back going. So you don't have to start over. So I'm not trying to do all that. I'm just gonna show you guys a little tip on the way there too. Yeah, I tend to have a heavy hand when I tie my flies. Just make sure that tail is up on top of the hook shank. That's the most important part. You want it to look right to the fish. Presentation is everything to the fish. If you don't present your bait right, that fish is not gonna want to eat it. I mean, would you want to eat it if you went to a restaurant and someone fed you something that's not presented correctly? You'd be like, no, take that back. So the fish are kind of the same way. So, second, get my glue stick ready. And I already got a piece of wire stripped off here, or cut off, I'm sorry. Real thin wire, you can't really even probably see it. So, I'm gonna tie that on, because I'm gonna use that here in a little bit. I just wanna have it on there and ready. Now, this is no specific kind of fly either. This is just something that I like to fish for hatchery fish with. And if you've seen my videos previously at Willow Beach throughout the last few months, I catch a lot of big fish down there. And other places too. I've been doing this for a long time. I just started doing social media, so I just started posting recently. But I do not kind of know what I'm doing a little bit here. I'm not as good as some fly fishermen know, but I know what I'm doing. I know how to go out there and catch fish and pattern them out. It's not rocket science. I've just been doing it for long enough to where I know how to figure it out. Pretty much any species of fish I go for, whether it's sharks, tuna, bass, salmon, trout, striped bass, anything of that nature. It doesn't matter. Any kind of game fish, I fish for it and I catch them. I love doing it. Been doing it my whole life. So we're kind of trying to make the decision right here on the dubbing. I've been going back and forth on it while I was contemplating on this video, and I think I'm gonna go, let's see. Let's go with more of a natural color. What do you guys think? That right there. I think so. So I'm just gonna take a little pinch, just like that, not much. A small pinch. Just like that. That might even be a lot. I'm gonna take that glue stick, go down my thread. It's called dabbing because you want to dab that kind of glue stick on the thread. Just dab it really lightly. I like to rub it a little bit too, but you're supposed to actually dab it. And then this is the dubbing. You take it on there. Just want to stretch it out. See that? Stretch it out thin. Make it kind of equal there. And then twist it with your fingertips. See that? You want to twist all those little fibers together onto the thread. And the glue stick, you want to put a little bit of glue, a little dabbing on the glue, so that dubbing just kind of sticks onto it really well. You can kind of perfect that as you go. Just kind of showing you guys how I'm doing it. Now, I got my wire back there hanging off. Remember, I tied the wire on after the tail, okay? That's it, that's step 2. Now, I'm gonna wrap the dubbing really slow. Try to line it up right where the tail's at right there. And then I'm gonna start my body thin. On the back of the body, I wanna start thin. I'm gonna go up. So I guess we're gonna do more of a nymph type body today, if that's what you wanna call it. We'll call it a rainbow nymph, okay? All right. Glad we agreed on that. All right, and always make the head a little bit more thicker. And you'll see why. Because we want to use a little bit of a head to make kind of wings coming out of the side of what we're going to do with the Easter basket stuff. So that's why you got to stay tuned, because this is a great fly to use up there at Willow Beach and other places too where there's clear water at, and anywhere there's trout really. Okay, so I'm going to take the wire, got a little thin wire now. I'm going to start wrapping that. I'm going to wrap around the thin part of the body, going up towards the thick. You want to make that wrap equal too. And then I'm gonna go up right where it starts to bulk up. It starts to bulk up right there, okay? And I'm gonna wrap my thread right around that part. Just a couple of the wraps, not much. I'm gonna clip the rest of that off. Don't need it no more. Now, Easter basket stuff. Here we go. All right. You want to kind of find a piece that's not too kinked up. It's got a little bit of straightness to it. There we go. Found a piece. Now there's thick and thin stuff in this. I want to take the thin one for this because I'm using a small hook. Okay, take that right there. A little section. Clip off the kink part. That's all kinked up. Just like that. Got that left. Not even gonna need that whole part right there. Use very little of this. Okay. I'm gonna lay this piece down right here with the back part facing towards the tail. And I'm gonna start my wraps right where that thick part begins coming from the shank. So here's the shank going up towards that thick part. I'm gonna start wrapping that. Remember, go loose on top, and when you come back up, pull it tight just a little bit. Loose, tight, loose, tight, loose, tight. That's an important part that is very, very imperative in fly tying. If you're not taking fly tying classes, no one's showing you that, that's something that you're gonna have to kind of learn on your own. It's a lot tougher, so that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. Okay, now I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna wrap it back over towards the, right before the bead head, and I'm gonna start wrapping. Loose, tight, there you go, just like that. Now, this fly's almost done. So, pretty much is done. But there's a few key steps you have to follow. Clip that off. Now, I'm gonna tie a little half hitch. There's tools to use this. I don't use the tools, I just use my fingers. I take this, wrap around both my fingers like that. Oh, it didn't work, okay. You do a half hitch like that, wrap it both around my fingers, put it around that hook. Now, I'm gonna cinch it down with my fingertip to that spot where I was last wrapping at. You do not want to cinch that down on the guide or on your fly. So that's kind of where it's imperative. Now I'm gonna do a double hitch. Since that's not secure, I know where it's going. There we go. You could put a little piece of glue on there if you want. I technically use my flies for 1 or 2 uses. and then I usually get rid of them because I do catch a lot of hatchery fish on them. The hook points get kind of dull on them, and I just kind of toss them after that. And then, but if you're planning on tying a bunch and going on a cool fishing trip, definitely put the glue on there. Oh, that fell off. Well, anyway, we're done with the fly, so that's okay. The thread broke. So I'm gonna clip the last piece of that off. Now, let me find a little tool here. All right. I can't find my tool, so I'm gonna use a little tiny paper clip. But you really wanna use like a little needle point. And I'm gonna take the sides right here. Check this out. See the bead head right there? I'm gonna take the sides of that. And I'm just gonna poke the sides of the fibers out, just like that, on each side. Now you do that with a little needle point, and those fibers are gonna come out just right. This is not ideal. Do not use the paper clip. That's not working right. I just had that sitting right there. Thought I'd use it and try it out. Well, anyway, you do that right there. And that little piece of flash right there to use with the Easter basket, that's the ticket right there, I'm telling you. That stuff right there in clear water, that fluorescent flash, those trout love that, and it's very unique. You can't get that stuff.